In history, a great figure emerged with the name Marcus Aurelius, considered an icon of supreme power in the world. He stood out not only for his position, but also for his strict moral life, loyalty to principles, and profound philosophy. Unlike other Roman emperors, he rejected extravagant and lavish pleasures, from extravagant feasts overflowing, with wine to bloody spectacles at the Roman Colosseum. He clearly saw his mission: to serve humanity, a noble task entrusted by fate. With this spirit, Marcus Aurelius devoted himself wholeheartedly to realizing his life's purpose, not allowing himself to be entangled by transient worldly pleasures. One of the core principles of Stoic philosophy is the ability to distinguish between what we can control and what is beyond our control. Epictetus, one of the great thinkers of this school, pointed this out clearly in his handbook. Most events, except for our actions, are beyond our control. This awareness is not only clear, but also profound, opening up a new perspective on the world and how we interact with it. Based on this principle, Stoic philosophy does not encourage us to withdraw completely from the world. Instead, it encourages us to accept and be realistic about our limitations. They believe that focusing on things beyond our control only brings unnecessary burdens. When life is filled with suffering, it is often because we care too much about factors that are not within our sphere of influence. If we continue to let external factors control us, we will become puppets in the hands of fate. We often blame those who control us, but in reality, we have voluntarily given them that power. Once we stop, no longer paying attention to external influences, they will lose their power, and we will find true inner peace. Marcus Aurelius's ability to remain undisturbed by things beyond his control allowed him to face the numerous responsibilities and challenges he encountered as an emperor. He could focus on the task he believed the gods had assigned him. For Epictetus, this freedom to not be affected by external forces might be a way to concentrate on meaningful goals. For others, it could be a path to a content and worry-free life. When life becomes challenging, what things should we stop caring about, and how do we go about it? This video is a free exploration and interpretation of Marcus Aurelius's philosophy on caring less about things. In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius repeatedly distinguishes between the present, past, and future. In each category, the ancient Roman emperor offers valuable insights on how we care too much about them, or in the wrong ways, or about the wrong things. For clarity and structure, let's start with the future. As Seneca once said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. This implies that our thoughts about the future are the source of our suffering. When it comes to the future, our imagination tends to run wild. Create many scenarios of what could happen, most of which will probably never happen. Faced with this, we ponder how to deal with possible outcomes, while trembling with the idea of not knowing how the future will unfold, or how things will pan out in our lives. In some cases, the things that happen are what we predicted, but in many other cases, fate takes us by surprise, making us overwhelmed by events we cannot predict, for better or worse. Marcus Aurelius wrote that it's not the weight of the future that burdens us, but only the weight of the present pressing upon us. It's not the future that harms us, but how we deal with it in the present. All the pain from the future happens in the present. Interestingly, it's not that the future is happening in the present, because when we worry excessively about future events, life gradually becomes painful as we endure them in our imagination, allowing these future events to determine our present. So, what did Marcus Aurelius say about worrying too much about the future? First, consider the following quote: "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason, which today arm you against the present." He pointed out that if you can handle the present, you can also handle the future. He advised not to imagine all the terrible things that could happen, but to face the situation you are living in at the moment. When he focused on the present, he realized he could endure it. So, why couldn't he deal with what was to come? This attitude is similar to the concept of amor fati, the love and acceptance of fate, reinforced by the confidence that, if you can endure it, you can cope with it in the future. He reminded himself not to imagine all the bad outcomes. Instead, he focused on how he could manage what he was experiencing at that moment. By doing so, he realized he could endure it, and if so, why couldn't he deal with what would come later? This perspective is similar to the idea of amor fati, the love of one's own fate, but with the belief that if you can endure it, you can navigate it. Regarding the past, Marcus Aurelius recognized that life is fleeting and quickly disappears into the vast world beyond our reach. The past, like the future, lies in a realm we cannot operate in. What's done is done, and unless we invent a time machine, we can't change it. Marcus Aurelius said, "Remember that man lives only in the present, in this fleeting instant. All the rest of his life is either past and gone, or not yet revealed." Therefore, he advises us to treat the past as unimportant and meaningless in the present. It's not that past events don't affect the present, or that we can't learn from past events. We can't work with the past. It's beyond our reach. Memories of our past are often fuzzy, and verifying what exactly happened is difficult depending on personal memory and different perspectives. However, we continue to care about past events, often replaying them in our minds and re-experiencing the pain they caused. Some may believe that, by thinking about the past, we can have some control over it, but that's an illusion. The past is gone, and we're only dealing with thoughts about what has disappeared and will never return. "I wish I had done that differently," many people say, but they wish for the impossible. Nothing can be gained from these thoughts, as they stimulate desires that can never be satisfied. Instead of focusing on past events, Marcus Aurelius focuses on how he deals with them. We can't control past events, and it's very likely that we can't control them when they happen in the present. However, we can control how we deal with these events. Initially, we may view the past as unfortunate situations. We may have experienced a difficult childhood filled with hardships and challenges, or we may have experienced the end of important relationships that we thought would last forever. It may even be business endeavors that failed, projects that we hoped would succeed, but ultimately didn't. However, the past is not just a series of unfortunate events, but also a part of our journey. It can help us learn, mature, and grow. The difficulties and failures in the past can help us understand ourselves better, explore our limits more deeply, and find ways to overcome them. They can become valuable lessons that make us stronger and more prepared to face future challenges. Consider the past as a part of your story, an inseparable part, but not the sole determinant of your life. It is a source of inspiration for you to move forward and build a better future. Don't let the past shape your thinking and decisions. Use it to become stronger and more confident in facing upcoming challenges. But for Marcus Aurelius, the essence of these events is not important. What matters is how he deals with them. He poses the question of whether we can truly call something unfortunate if it doesn't violate the essence of human nature. Can you say something is unfortunate if it doesn't contradict the essence of human nature, or do you think that something that doesn't violate the will of nature can violate it? Do you know the will of nature? What has happened has prevented you from acting justly, prosperously, self-controlled, rightly determined, honest, humble, qualities that allow your true nature to flourish. Marcus Aurelius doesn't entirely disregard the value of the past. He sees the past as a guide, observing how everything unfolds and repeats itself in cycles. When it comes to the future, our imagination often operates uncontrollably, creating many scenarios of what might happen, many of which may never occur. First, we think about how to handle possible outcomes, while trembling in fear of the unknown future, or what will happen in our life. In some cases, what happens is exactly what we predicted. In many other cases, fate surprises us with events we couldn't foresee, whether for better or worse. Some people have devoted a lot of time and effort to preparing for an ideal retirement, but sometimes life doesn't go as planned, and these plans may not materialize. However, we should not give up. Instead, we can learn to adapt to changes and adjust our plans to create a meaningful and exciting retirement. On the eve of the golden years of life, a diagnosis of late-stage cancer with only a few months left to live, the possibility of such events leads to many worries, constantly considering the best and worst that could happen. What if World War III breaks out? What if I lose all my money? Such unfavorable outcomes are possible, but should we worry about them in advance? As Seneca suggested, the future troubles us because we think about it. It doesn't exist outside of our minds. If you were facing a life-threatening cancer diagnosis, what would prevent you from living today and enjoying every precious moment of your precious life? Stand up, hold your head high, no matter what you're going through, whether it's trivial or significant. Put on your finest clothes, your best shoes, and create moments that will be remembered even after you're gone. Marcus Aurelius focuses on his reaction to events. We cannot control the past, and perhaps we cannot control them when they happen in the present. However, we can control how we face these events. Initially, we may consider the past as an unfortunate situation. We may have gone through a difficult childhood, or the end of a friendship, or failed business efforts. But for Marcus Aurelius, the essence of these events is not important. What matters is how he deals with them. He posed the question of whether we can call something a true disaster if it doesn't violate the essence of human nature. Can you say that something is a disaster if it does not contradict the essence of human nature? Or do you think that something that does not infringe on the will of nature can violate it? Do you know what the will of nature is? Have the events that have occurred prevented you from acting with justice, generosity, self-control, intelligent judgment, honesty, humility, and authenticity, qualities that allow your natural essence to flourish? Interestingly, Marcus Aurelius did not completely dismiss the value of the past. He viewed the past as a guide, observing how events unfold and repeat through cycles. Through the past, we can infer about the future. This brings us to the present. Marcus Aurelius recognized that the present moment is all we have. It is a narrow field within our reach, while the past and the future are vast areas beyond our control. The present exists only in a moment, and the rest of our lives have either passed or remain undisclosed. Yet, we often focus on areas beyond the present. We become dissatisfied with how life unfolds at this moment, perhaps because things are not going according to plan, or because our desires are not yet satisfied. This is when the present moment becomes a painful confinement, where we endure under the dominion of the future or cling to the passing present. Marcus Aurelius's advice is to fully enjoy the present moment. Embrace it as it is. He advised that we should not let our emotions be dominated by the current situation, even if we do not like what is happening or cling to what we have. He believed that the way the world unfolds is not within our control, but our reaction is within our control. While we cannot control external events, we can control how we react to them. Imagine you have had a difficult childhood, full of obstacles and hardships. It might be easy to label your past as a series of misfortunes. However, according to the philosophy of Marcus Aurelius, the important thing is not to label these events as disasters, but how you choose to react to them. He believed that, in the face of actual events, if you do not view them as disasters, they will not harm you. It's about perspective. Instead of dwelling on the hardships of the past, focus on how these experiences have shaped you and made you stronger. By doing so, you are aligning with Stoic philosophy, accepting what you cannot change and finding inner strength in the present. Marcus Aurelius viewed the laws of nature as his guide. If he resisted nature or felt anger or sadness toward it, he would become a deserter, escaping from what he should harmonize with. Imagine you are going through a relatively challenging situation in your personal life. You have lost an important relationship and feel sad and desperate. According to Stoic philosophy, you can approach this situation as follows. First, accept the situation. Accept that losing the relationship is a part of life, and you cannot fully control it. What matters is how you handle it. Second, focus on self-worth. Instead of blaming yourself or feeling hopeless, concentrate on developing yourself and building self-worth from within. Third, learn and grow. Consider the loss of the relationship as an opportunity to learn and grow. Ask yourself what lessons you can draw from this situation and how to become stronger. Fourth, live in the present. Don't waste time worrying about the past or fearing the future. Focus on the present and do things you enjoy and bring joy to yourself. Fifth, Connect with the community. If you feel lonely, try connecting with the community or friends to share your emotions and seek support. Sixth, deal with emotions. Learn how to manage and control your emotions rather than letting them control you. This is the art of living, not about the amazing and fortunate external circumstances we encounter, because they are unstable, fragile, and fluctuating. It's about how we deal with the events we face. That's what we should care about. Hold on to it. Try to live in the present regardless of the circumstances you are facing. Start the change with something within your reach. Just start. Don't look at others. Don't look to the future. Don't dwell on the past. Look at what's right in front of you and simply start. I hope you achieve the positive results you desire in life. Remember, your motivation may waver at times, but stay persistent and maintain consistency in everything you do. Before we end, I want to share with you an interesting story about how Marcus Aurelius completely changed the life of a man named John. John is a young, enthusiastic person, but his life is always stressful and full of pressure. He works every day in a large company and always feels tired and unmotivated. During that difficult period, John began to learn about the philosophies of Marcus Aurelius on how to live a meaningful life and work with a moral soul. The words of Marcus Aurelius really impressed John. He began to study Stoicism further and began to practice this philosophy in his daily life. He learns to face work pressure more calmly, manage stress better, and focus on the truly important values in life. Thanks to Marcus Aurelius, John's life changed completely. He has become happier, more confident, and better able to face all challenges. His life is no longer as stressful as before, and he has seen a huge change in his thinking and spirituality. Remember, life is a non-stop journey, and there are precious moments that can completely change our lives. Through the reflections of Marcus Aurelius, we are exposed to profound thoughts about life, success, and happiness. This article offers valuable suggestions and wisdom from one of the greatest philosophers in history. It's time to refresh your life with a new breeze. Take a moment to enjoy this video, a window into a world of new discoveries and understanding. We strongly believe that, through these authentic moments, you will find inspiration with deep understanding. If this video has touched your heart, don't hesitate to like and share it with everyone around you. Let's create a community full of knowledge and rich experiences, because each of your shares is a step towards a wider world. Join us on this YouTube channel, where every video is a new adventure, opening the door to endless insights and inspiration. Subscribe to our channel and you'll never miss an exciting trip. Thank you for being a part of this journey, and we can't wait to share more magic with you in the future. See you in the next videos. Goodbye.